Proverbs 3:35. Finally, to the end of chapter 3. It says, "The wise shall inherit glory, but shame shall be the promotion of fools." Let's look at the first part of that. The wise shall inherit glory. Glory is exalted and in modified use merited. It's praise, honor, or admiration accorded by common consent to a person or thing, honorable fame and renown. So whenever the wise inherit glory, they inherit honor and praise and renown in God's sight. Right? God will honor that person who is wise. And when wisdom is exalted, she will promote a man. Look at Proverbs 4 and verse 8. So when we lift up wisdom and we make wisdom important in our lives, like when you exalt something, you kind of put it up on a pedestal. When we put wisdom on a pedestal, and that's one of the chief objects of our life, then wisdom will put us up. It'll promote us. Proverbs 4 and verse 8. "Exalt her," speaking of wisdom, "and she shall promote thee. She shall bring thee to honor when thou dost embrace her." And isn't that exactly what glory is? The wise shall inherit glory. Glory is praise and honor. So wisdom brings you to honor when you embrace her. And it gives to your head a crown of glory. Verse 9. "She shall give to thine head an ornament of grace, and a crown of glory shall she deliver to thee." Now this is the crown of glory that can come in this life. Paul said that there's a crown waiting for him that he'll get in that day, and everyone that loves his appearing. But there's also a crown of glory that we can get whenever we exalt wisdom here and now. Where Jesus taught in Luke 14 and verse 11 that they that humble themselves shall be exalted. And if you remember, exalted and glorified, that makes a little more sense. Those things are synonyms. Gloried, that's funny. Luke 14 and verse 11. Jesus said, "For whosoever exalteth himself shall be abased." That means to be brought low. "And he that humbleth himself shall be exalted." Or in other words, be brought to glory. The wise shall be, how did it say it? The wise shall inherit glory. And then there's another way in which the wise can inherit glory too, and that is they can eternally inherit glory, like the glory of the heavenly state, that the wise have evidence in their life that they will inherit. In Romans chapter 8 and verse 18. So if we are wise, we seek wisdom, and we love the Lord and His Word, then we have the evidence in our life that we have an eternal state of glory waiting for us. Romans 8:18 says, "For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us." And he's talking here about what's going to happen whenever our body is redeemed, because he says we groan together waiting for the adoption to wit the redemption of our body later on in the chapter there in verse 23. So the glory is that final glorification that will happen to all of God's elect. Just like it says there in verse 30 of Romans 8, "Moreover, whom he did predestinate, them he also called, and whom he called, them he also justified, and whom he justified, them he also glorified." So the wise shall inherit glory. But shame shall be the promotion of fools. And this will be the last clause of Proverbs chapter 3. So, typically when you get a promotion, you work to earn it, right? That's normally how you get a promotion. Or else, if you're just a big enough screw-up, they'll usually promote you just to get you out of there and make you somebody else's problem. That's sometimes, it's kind of like a cesspool. The biggest turds float to the top. So that you ever wonder why is my boss such an idiot? Well, sometimes it may have just been that people were just sick and tired of dealing with him, and they couldn't fire him for whatever reason. They didn't, do the paperwork and the grievances or whatever, and they just promoted him to get rid of him. So that could be why. Or maybe it could be you just don't understand, and your boss actually knows what he's doing, and you don't see the big picture, and you think he's an idiot, but he's really not. That is probably the case more times than not. So you work to earn promotions. A promotion is advancement in position, preferment. So whenever you're promoted, you are given, your position has been advanced. Now, who knows who gives promotions? Anybody? Who gives promotions? Where do promotions come from? God. What verse says that? Don't look at the outline. Anybody know?
I've already looked.
You already cheated. Okay. Psalm 75. Psalm 75, 6 through 7. You always want to remember this. When you think, oh, there's no way I'm in some dead-end position. I can never get promoted. Well, just remember that the Lord is the one that gives promotion, and He can do all kinds of amazing things. Psalm 75 and verse 6. For promotion cometh neither from the east, nor from the west, nor from the south, but God is judge. He putteth down one and setteth up another. And I know we've looked at this verse before. The missing direction. I can't. The simplest word sometimes I cannot think of. The missing direction is north, right? The Lord is in the sides of the north. The last time I messed this up. So let's see. Promotion cometh neither from. No, don't tell me. Let's see. The west, right? Is that west? Yes. That's right. Yes. West. There you go. West, east, and south. North. There we go. No. I'm like a walking compass here. No.
You were just talking about pride.
No, that was a bit of sarcasm. Okay, so anyway, God gives the promotion. And He sets up the wise and the diligent. Proverbs 22 and verse 29. Proverbs 22 and verse 29. It says, Seest thou a man diligent in his business? He shall stand before kings. He shall not stand before mean men. In other words, he's going to be promoted. All right? He's going to be serving on the king's court. He's going to be in some high-ranking position. Just like Daniel, diligent in his business and steadfast in his commitment to God. And guess what? Whenever they wanted to feed him a bunch of stuff that he, for whatever reason, was convinced he wasn't supposed to eat, and they said, no, we want to eat what we're supposed to eat. And they said, okay, try it out. We'll see how you look. And they ate the pulse, and they looked better than the guys that were eating the king's diet, and they were promoted, Daniel and his friends. So anyway, the Lord sets up people like that. But you're not going to stand before mean men. Mean, now we think of mean today like somebody that's unkind or they're harsh or something, but mean in the Bible primarily means inferior in rank or quality of persons, their rank or station. It means undistinguished in position, of low degree, often opposed to noble or gentle. Like a gentleman. A gentleman, we think today is just a guy that opens the door for ladies or something, but a gentleman in like Old England was somebody that was reared to be a nobleman, and he knew how to fight, he knew how to dance, he knew how to play an instrument, he knew all the courtesies, he knew all the proper societal things that you were supposed to do, and that was what was considered a gentleman. So we see here that if we are diligent in our business, we're going to be promoted. We're not going to be working for people of low degree, right? Indistinguished people.
Average people.
Average.
Kind of like mean
Yeah.
and math is the average.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
what I was
Yep.
thinking.
Yep. Yep, that's right. Okay, no, I was going to make a distinction between mean and median, but that's average, but it doesn't matter anyway. God, we're told in 1 Samuel 2 and verse 7 that God puts down and brings low fools. So he promotes the wise, but he also promotes the fools. Remember what it said there in Psalm 75, he putteth down one and setteth up another. 1 Samuel 2 and verse 7. It says, The Lord maketh poor and maketh rich. he bringeth low and lifteth up. So there's a great, I don't even have a note there, but that's a great example of Psalm 75 there. He setteth up one, putteth down another. So he will promote fools to poverty and to lowliness, and he'll promote wise men to riches and honor. It says there in this proverb that shame shall be the promotion of fools. So that's what their promotion is. They get called into the boss's office and handed some shame. This is your promotion. Shame is the painful emotion arising from the consciousness of something dishonoring, ridiculous, or indecorous. I think that's how you say that, indecorous, in one's own conduct or circumstances, or in those of others whose honor or disgrace one regards as one's own. Like if you are ashamed of somebody else, right? You feel like, oh, I'm ashamed for you. Or of being in a situation which offends one's sense of modesty or decency. So God forbid you end up out in public naked or something like that, right? You would feel shame for that, even if you didn't do anything to cause it. You'd still feel shame. So shame is that painful emotion when you've been dishonored. So fools earn a shameful promotion for several reasons. We're going to go through, I don't know, it looks like about 8 of them here or so. And we'll just go through them here rapid fire. So the first thing that gets fools a shameful promotion is laziness. Proverbs 10 and verse 5. It says, he that gathereth in summer is a wise son, but he that sleepeth in harvest is a son that causeth shame. Shame shall be the promotion of fools. So, and when it comes time to get out there and harvest, that's not the time to sleep, right? That's the time to work. Then secondly, they're proud. Proverbs 11 and verse 2. It says, when pride cometh, then cometh shame, but with the lowly is wisdom. So there's the second reason why they're promoted to shame, is because of their pride. And then they're wrathful is the third reason. Proverbs 12 and verse 16. It says, a fool's wrath is presently known, but a prudent man covereth shame. You see, the fool's wrath is going to cause shame, but the prudent man is going to recognize that evil and hide himself from it and keep himself from the shame. And then the fourth reason is that they're wicked and loathsome. Proverbs 13 and verse 5. A righteous man hateth lying, but a wicked man is loathsome and cometh to shame. And then, fifthly, they refuse instruction and reproof. Proverbs 13:18. Poverty and shame shall be to him that refuseth instruction, but he that regardeth reproof shall be honored. Right? He's going to get the good promotion. The person that listens to instruction, the person that disregards it, is going to have shame. And then sixthly, they answer a matter before they hear it, and that's a good way to get a shameful promotion. Proverbs 18 and verse 13. He that answereth a matter before he heareth it, it is folly and shame unto him. I think you talked about that in an exhortation a while back. Yeah. Yep. And have you ever felt ashamed whenever somebody is trying to tell you something and you cut them off and you just tell them to shut up? I know what you're going to say. And then they finally get you to shut up for long enough to say, no, listen, here's what I was trying to say. And you're like, oh, I feel like a jerk, right? I feel shame because I didn't listen to what you were trying to tell me.
But even if you're right, it was still rude.
Right, even if you're right. You're going to feel more shame if you were wrong, but yeah, even if you're right. Exactly. You should still feel shame. And they don't honor their parents. Proverbs 19 and verse 26. He that wasteth his father and chaseth away his mother is a son that causeth shame and bringeth reproach. And that could go when we're young and we ought to honor our parents and obey them, or when we're older and we ought to take care of them if they need it. And lastly, they're hasty to strive, and this will bring a man to shame. Proverbs 25 and verse 8. Go not forth hastily to strive, lest thou know not what to do, in the end thereof, when thy neighbor hath put thee to shame. You can imagine if you think you think that your neighbor wronged you, or you think that he was the one that did something that hurt you in some way, and you run out there to strive with him and blow up and look like a fool, and then he says, I didn't do that. That was, Joe down the road or whatever. If you hastily strive with somebody, you could very easily be put to shame. So you always want to make sure that you know what you're doing, you know all the facts, and that you've taken time to cool down before you go and strive with somebody, because we don't want to have the promotion of fools, which is shame.